Hello, everybody. I am Peter the Book Lover, and this is Halls of Eight. This is where I talk about my new arrivals, the new books that I'm adding to my collection. And I've got some pretty good, interesting paperbacks here. Let's talk about them. Hello, everybody. I am Peter the Book Lover. I like to read a lot of books and I collect books. And these are some of my new paperbacks that I recently received. I've had these for a little while, and I'm catching up on some videos today. When I do the Halls of Eight, I usually make about 3 or 4 videos at the same time. So, and these are all my new paperbacks. So let's talk about them. Now, before I get into the books, I want to thank everybody for coming by. It's wonderful that you're here. I'm very thankful that you came by to check out my channel. Thank you for being here. Okay, let's start out with the first one. Now, the first one is a book by Frank Herbert. This is a book of Dune. This is Heretics of Dune by Frank Herbert. Beautiful copy. I love it. But at the same time, I also have this. This is Chapter House Dune. And this is has no cover, so I'm going to count this as one. I got this at the same time. And even though it's missing the cover and the back cover as well, I still wanted to pick this up because I really liked reading Dune. Dune is a fantastic novel. I've read it a couple times, and I just think it's a fantastic story. The villain in that book is fantastic. The storytelling is fantastic. I really love it. I like the movies of Dune, and I'm looking forward to checking this out. The Heretics of Dune. Okay. Now, the next book that I'm going to talk about is a book by Jack Finney, Time and Time Again. Now, there's a funny thing about this book. I actually, when I picked up this book, I seen the name Jack Finney, and I said to myself, I know that author. I couldn't remember what I read by him or what he wrote, so I picked up the book. And I had this book until I got home. And when I got home, before I looked at my collection, it hit me. This is the guy that wrote the book Body Snatchers, which is actually the story of Invasion of the Body Snatchers. And that's a fantastic book. And this is a book that he wrote well before this, because I looked in the other books by Jack Finney, and this was the only book written by him. So this is one of his first novels. And I really enjoyed the book Body Snatchers. It was written very well, and I'm looking forward to reading Body Snatchers again and actually checking this time and time again. Okay. The next book that I'm going to show you is a book by Lee Child, and this is a Jack Reacher novel, Bad Luck and Trouble. Now, I'm familiar with the character Jack Reacher. I'm familiar with the character of Jack Reacher. I know that he's a guy like an agent, and he's very talented at fighting. He could kick everybody's ass. There's a movie and there's a TV show. I have not watched any episodes of that TV show, but I've seen a couple scenes on YouTube, and they're pretty awesome. To where there's like one scene where he's in jail with another character, and they're about to bully this character, and he fights for this kid, and it's a pretty awesome scene. Good fight scenes. I enjoyed it, so I'm looking forward to reading this. I have another book by Jack Reacher, another book by Lee Child in the Jack Reacher series, so I'm looking forward to reading that. Maybe I'll get a third one before I start both of these, but yes, I'm looking forward to reading a book about Jack Reacher. Now, the next book that I'm going to show you is a book by Rudyard Kipling. This is a book called Captain Courageous. Now, I know that this is the guy that wrote The Jungle Book, and I'm looking forward to reading that one day. And I know this guy has written some very good poetry. There is a funny story about this book. The day before I found this book, my roommate asked me a question. Who wrote Captain Courageous? And I looked it up. And I've never heard of the story Captain Courageous. And I was like, Rudyard Kipling. I answered his question. And the very next day, I ran into this book. And now I have Captain Courageous. And it's kind of funny because he asked me that question. And I've never heard of this before. And I found this book. And it looks like an interesting book. I kind of taped it together. It was not in the best condition. But that means that's a good chance that it's a good book if it's not in a good condition, because that means people have spent the time reading it. So, Captain Courageous is the next book. Okay. The next book that I'm going to talk about is by L. Frank Baum, and that is The Wonderful Wizard of Oz. This isn't the story of The Wizard of Oz. I have read that. I have not read this one. And Wizard of Oz is a great book. I really enjoyed that. I really like the artwork by W. W. Denslow. This is a fantastic artist. I love the design of the Scarecrow and the Tin Man. Tin Man's a pretty awesome character in the book. And I really loved Wizard of Oz. And I just haven't gotten around to reading the other books in the series. But I plan on reading more of them pretty soon. As a matter of fact, I was actually planning on reading it this month, but I just haven't got around to it. But very soon I'm going to start reading more of these books because, yeah, this was very great. I read another book in the Wizard of Oz, The World of the Wizard of Oz, but not by the same author. I think his grandchild or something. And that was a pretty entertaining book as well. And I'm looking forward to checking this out. Okay, the next book is by Sinclair Lewis, and this is a book called Aerosmith. Now, I am not familiar with the author, Sinclair Lewis. I have heard that name, Aerosmith. That is the name of a band that I really enjoy a lot. I really enjoy the band Aerosmith. But this is Sinclair Lewis. Apparently, he's written a lot of good books. There were 3 other books that I could have taken by him, but I just wanted to stick with one. I wanted to check out one first. They're gone now, so I will not have another chance at grabbing them, but this looks pretty interesting to me. And I love the name because Aerosmith is, I really love the band Aerosmith. Fantastic singer. I really love the singer. Love the song Dream On. You gotta love that song, right? Okay. Now, the next one that I'm going to show you is a book by Isser Harrell. I believe I'm pronouncing that name correctly. And this is The House on Garibaldi Street. And this is the story where they find and hunt down Adolf Eichmann. Now, Adolf Eichmann was a Nazi in World War II, and apparently this is a very bad Nazi. When they caught him and before they hung him, he actually made a speech where he showed no regret. And he said, once you hang me, I'm going to be dancing over the bodies of the dead Jews. So he's a pretty awful person, and I'm going to enjoy reading about them catching this guy and bringing him to justice, man. This guy, one thing I like about World War II stories is when it ends and the Nazis actually get punished for their crimes. A lot of them got hung, and they deserve to get hung because, like Schindler's List, the guy, I forgot the name of the main Nazi in that, played by Ralph Fiennes. At the end of the movie, he gets hung, and it's pretty satisfying because he was a pretty awful person. Great performance, though. But yes, this is the manhunt for Adolf Eichmann. Okay, and the last book that I'm going to show you is by Orson Scott Card. And this is one of the, I believe this is the last in the series of the Ender's Game. Now, I have Ender's Game, and I have another book in the series of Ender Game, and I have not read any of them. I believe I've seen the movie. I really didn't think much of the movie. It wasn't bad. I didn't hate the movie, but it wasn't a movie that I was really into that heavily. I didn't leave the movie theater saying, "Oh man, that was awesome." But it was a decent movie. I didn't hate it. So, and I've been looking forward to reading this series. But when you're a person that collects books, it takes you a while to get to a lot of the books that are in your collection because you're spending time on the other books. I am pretty good at reading the books that I collect. I eventually get to them. I'm whittle it down little bit at a time. Okay, that's it for the video. I hope you enjoyed hearing about these books. I had a fun time talking about it. I had a fun time hunting them down and finding them. I really enjoy collecting books. Sometimes I'm amazed when I find these books. Sometimes I'll find a book and I'll read it and I won't be impressed with it. And especially if you find something and you're excited about and then you get disappointed, it's kind of crazy. But I'm still thankful to have the books that I have. Me and books get along pretty well. Okay, so that's it for the video. If you like the video, can you please give me a like? I'd really appreciate that, and that would let me know that you enjoyed the video. Can you please leave comments and let me know what you think of these books? If you've read any of these books, I'd love to hear your opinion of these books. Maybe you can warn me and say this book, you shouldn't read that book because it's not that good. And if you haven't subscribed, can you please subscribe to the channel? I make content all the time, and I really work hard on making good content. So I want to thank you for being here, and that's about it. And I will see you on the next video. I'm Peter the Book Lover, and thank you for coming by.